Hi, welcome back to the Dylan Rounds case. Welcome if you're currently here in the live chat. I appreciate it. Today, we've got a range of different things to get through. We need to talk about the court case with Brenner, the current situation, okay? We're going to be taking a look at the Dylan Rounds forum, continuing on with that information. There is a post on Find Dylan Rounds Facebook post, and Candice Cooley has left a response. So we'll take a look at that as well. A range of different things, okay, which is interesting. Also, if you haven't already, make sure to check out my previous video. You can do so after watching this one, okay? And it was to do with Ty Corbyn and clearing things up there. It was successful. Ty Corbyn did pop in later and, acknowledged, which was all good. So that seems to have been resolved, okay? Also, shout out with the previous video, Starchasm TV, King Salmon and Ellenberg for their presence in the last video. Also, extra shout out to King Salmon, who provided more TRT, very useful. Ellenberg provided a burger, which was very good. Thank you, Ellenberg. Sorry, Ellen. It's a simple mistake to make. I've just been on a new program recently. I was like some online class. It's called Joy Perry Speech to Text, how to sound completely illiterate and like you don't know what you're talking about. And it looks like it's paying off. It was good value for money. So we'll see how things go. And also Starchasm TV for their consistency recently, watching the videos. That's good of them. Make sure to check out Starchasm TV if you want. They've got a couple of interesting videos on their channel. And also the Remember on here. So that's good. They've got the access to the dodgy badges and stuff. I'm starting to think that with the pattern and consistency of King Salmon as well. Salmon, yeah. What was he called originally? I can't remember. We need to create some kind of new badge. I'll have to replace the previous one because YouTube with the restrictions of needed more members or so to unlock things. And as well, if members have left or membership has expired, then that box where it says need 3 more members goes up to needs 4 more members because a previous person's left. Once you get to a certain target, okay, so like if it says 4 more members need to join, 4 new people join, and then they back out afterwards, or their membership expires, that new slot that has been unlocked for a new badge remains unlocked. It doesn't get taken away, which is good, right? But if you're trying to reach a target of certain members to unlock the next badge, that counter will go back up until you've unlocked it. So that's not too bad. It's quite promising that at the end of the day. So I'll provide a link down below in the pinned comment section of different links you can visit if you want to, including the previous video as well. And I think what we need to do first of all is check out the comments, right, of the last video or two. There's some interesting points made, okay? I know some people might think, do we need to? This time it's slightly more important because there's some interesting individuals popping up with interesting comments, which we need to take a look at directly within the Dylan Brown's case, okay? See if there's any familiar names you've seen before. Also, even though it's not exactly quite, but in a way it is, a new development within the Dylan Brown's case and the pole grain shed, pole barn to look at. Some key piece of evidence within. It's been reworded in recent time. We need to take a look at that, okay? So that's why we're going to look now. And we'll see if there's any additional other points to respond, refer to and explain, okay? So I hope you're ready. Let's get into this case. Right, so these are the first few comments we'll just take a brief look at, see if there's anything of interest that stands out. Ashley referring to the mask. Yep, there you go. You got Betty. Shout out to Betty. We've seen that. We've covered that one. Yep. Terry says, I don't trust Candice from the start. My thoughts on it, when I first came across Candice Cooley, I wasn't too suspicious, okay? I was kind of more neutral back then, right? That was like before I knew all the other things and behaviour by them and the changes and patterns, right? Stony, of course. What's this one? Yeah, we saw the Shack Lady's comment, yep. But Shack Lady did respond to another comment to do with evidence, right? So that'll be interesting to take a look at, and we'll take a look at that soon. Just make sure I've not missed anything. Louise said, are Ellie actually doing anything, or is it just Dylan's parents and volunteers? I mean, it's one of those things where the LE have done things, of course, but they have also done things wrong. So, yeah. As of in recent time, I'm not quite sure if LE have actually done anything. Okay, they've been kind of quiet, Box Elder County Sheriff's Office, right? Though at the end of 2022, that article was written about Box Elder County Sheriff's Office and Candice Cooley, her being depicted in a negative way, Box Elder County being pictured in a positive way. So maybe that was their last known recent activity, trying to establish or bring back credibility towards them so that they don't look all bad. You never know. What's this one? I was watching about Kenny Veach, very strange, okay. Louise says, what's happening with Jim Brenner? He's in jail, but not heard any more. Has he spoken about Dylan and what happened? Let's just see what Joseph has to say, because we don't really read out Joseph's comments because they're not that long normally, and he tends to contribute more in the live chats, but we'll just take a little look back, okay? So Joseph says, all Brenner has done is blame Chase and try to create false narratives. Seems to be the case. It's a shame Kurt and Don haven't been more direct in supporting this case for Dylan. Fair point. They could have cleared up a lot of this, except they're hiding something, not necessarily to do with Dylan. Maybe. I think it's all about drugs and drug dealing as far as they go. It's all about hiding them, the meth dealing and sales of drugs. That's going to be the key to this case you watch. Suppose Dylan was found with drugs in his system. Would that be a big surprise at this point? Why else wouldn't Don and Kurt want him found? I think they should have drug tested Brenner right away. It's a mess, but the facts are pretty straightforward. Hope to see you in chat. So, yeah. The way, I guess, Joseph has worded this is quite well. You know, it's also open to interpretation, right? You might agree on a basic note, but branching off, you might think, well, it's more direct with Don and the likes of Kurt knowing something to do with Dylan. So, you know, leave your thoughts. Move on. There you go. You got Jeff F, who has been around for some time. Yeah, what's this? For the most part, I just sit back and enjoy the content. As for Candice goes, she's already stolen money from Justin's trucking company. I think the last video of yours was said to be around 2.6 million. If I'm correct, yeah, I believe so. It was around that. And supposedly Justin ran over Candice or tried to as well. says she should have been the first on the list to be investigated and still being investigated. Okay. So what I'm going to do now, brief little poll. Aside from Candice Cooley, arguably being argumentative, hard to work with, do you think that LE may have held information back from her and acted in different ways because they are aware of Candice Cooley supposedly stealing money in the past and it's kind of criminal activity, money embezzlement? Do you think that's a possibility? I know, in general cases, the police may act a certain way with, all humans, but, if you're dealing with someone who is either dangerous, a bit sly, they've got a bit of a dark past, you might just be extra careful, Move on. Brian, yeah, that's been sorted. What's this? I've been following the Idaho 4 case. Accounts about the 3 murders possibly being linked to speculation without facts. Conspiracy theories, all the drama causes confusion. It does, Joseph. Okay. Patricia, Candice has her own agenda. Some cases take years. Look at Delphi. Okay. I think Heartbeat Views is a new viewer and a new subset, I believe. Shout out to them. So Candice is doing everything she can and still has more children to take care of and be there for. Yeah, okay. Here we go. Kind of an interesting comment, this. A bit more of a direct one. So this is by Robertbergener. Okay. I don't know who Robertbergener is. I'm not sure if he's on the Find Dylan Rounds Facebook page. If you are, Rob, feel free to, say yes in the chat or in the comment section later, because, the odd person has come on over from that community. You never know. Rob says, Bob Bergener would like to offer Candice 5,432 Montello Road as a place to park up a semi-dry van to make a big missing persons sign. Now, I don't know if that's genuine or not, but if it is an offer, it's it could help in some way. I don't know why Rob is trying to reach out to Candice here. If you're listening, Robert Bergener, the best way to contact Candice Cooley or to spread awareness of your offer would be on the Find Dylan Rounds Facebook page. Okay? That's probably the best way of reaching out. What's this? Can't stand. Yeah, not serious. What's this? Okay. Rob says, what about the FedEx package delivered to Independence Valley? FedEx. Okay. I personally am not aware of this. I've not heard of it. Maybe it was talked about in the Shack Ladies long live stream, possibly, or elsewhere. If anyone else is aware of this, know about it, feel free to briefly summarise in the chat, because if it's an event which occurred just before or after Dylan went missing, I can try and do a map analysis of it, try and make sense, track the distance, if anything else is present nearby, and maybe establish some kind of timeline, explanation, alternative theory, because we've done it before and it has worked out successfully. So if it needs to be done again, it can be done. Okay? FedEx Package, Independence Valley. I'm sure I've heard Independence Valley mentioned previously, but I don't know whose video it was in. But I don't think it was to do with FedEx. It was probably more to do with exploring and searching around. But yeah, in the live chat right now, let me know if you've heard about this before, this supposed package. The only other thing that's been talked about in terms of some kind of payment made for something, like the receipts, Walmart, I believe it was, that store, to do with buying bullets, some kind of caliber round, and that was by Brenner, and there was a receipt. I've not actually seen the photos of the receipt, but I've heard quite a few people talk about it with time. There is a link that could possibly be made okay, and even Ty Corbyn agreed to an extent, and that is Brenner has a silver or some kind of chrome pistol, okay, you might have seen that in that timeline video what we did recently by Quinton, and it's not been found. So where has that silver pistol gone? Is it missing? Has it been buried, hidden, taken away? Who knows? But it's not been found. Just maybe that Walmart receipt for those bullets may have been bought for that silver pistol, you know, then to shoot Dylan. You never know. It's a possibility. So what I'm going to do right now is another poll. Apologies that it's very close together, but we just got to do it, okay? So make sure to get in your final few votes for this poll that's on at the moment, and then we'll begin the next one, okay? So the poll can be roughly worded as the Walmart receipt of Brenner's to do with buying ammunition. Could it have any link association with the missing silver pistol of Brenner's? 2. Feel free to vote right now. Okay. And then we've got Rob once again with another comment. Interesting. What about the U-Dot camera on the border? It looks new. It must have recorded something. Okay. So once again, I'm not quite sure what Rob is talking about. U-Dot, I'm not quite sure what that means. If that's a brand, a make or style of camera. Is it a ballpoint camera? Is it like a mass with a camera looking down 360 degrees? I'm not too sure. But on the border, I have looked, right? And if we're talking about, you know, more north, the main centre point what we've been looking at, you go from Lucin into Montello, right? I've looked at the border. You know, we've looked close to it, we've passed over it, we've gone back and forth. And did we find anything? You had that, like, I keep forgetting, the overhead lines and then that little station where the main focal point was. Maybe that's where the camera's at, because it is nearly on the border. So maybe that's what Rob is talking about. And if there is a camera there, then that's very interesting. Can we do street view? I don't think we can. Not that I'm aware of, because the only street view you can do in the area is of the main highway, and that's away from the dirt road near the border. So it probably won't work. I mean, if we can find additional alternatives to, you know, checking, then I guess there's no harm. But yeah, if there was a camera there, surely you'd think they would have checked it by now. But you never know. It might have been looked over, forgotten about. Who knows? This guy called Rob. The question I have for you, Rob, if you're watching now or later, are you from the area? Are you aware of the area? Yes, no? Okay. Let's move on. Joseph, great stream today. Thank you. Candice has definitely acknowledged the fact Dylan is dead. Proof of that isn't just the way that they're searching, but they all and most of us know he's in the ground somewhere close. And the Betty Haywood is a bit stellar. Yeah, okay. Anna says, I thought the FBI was called in for the case. Yeah, they were. And one more. Robert said, Raf, I have made comments on several of the Dylan sites. You should be able to access everything. I have input, and so should everyone else as well. Right, so what's he referring to there? I'm not quite sure. The Dylan sites, more than one. So are we talking about the Find Dylan Rounds Facebook page? Are we talking about Lipstick Alley, that forum? Are we talking about the other crime forum we've been looking through, and YouTube as well, and Reddit? Or does he just mean like multiple comments on this one video? I'm not too sure, Rob. You'll need to reconfirm, because it's a little bit confusing. With that being said, let's move on to the next video comments. Okay, Shack Lady did respond back saying, to respond to your question, yes, offering a reward is what I described. It is a legal binding contract. All legal contracts have conditions or stipulations. If a reward is retracted, it can be taken to court civilly. Okay, so that answers that. It is binding and should always be followed through. That is if all the conditions have been met. So in reference to the Cooley case, it can be brought up in court and disputed. For rewards, all monies have to be separate from personal banking, records kept, and people assigned for purpose to protect the interest as such. Right, so that's basically summarised there, so that's good. We've got a guy here called Tay Henry, okay? Looks to be a dodgy account. What do they have to say? Why do you babble on and on, Warlike Ref? It would be more professional if you talked about the subject your story is on. As for Dylan Rounds, you never get straight to the subject. You're always babbling on about yourself and your weird tendencies. Everyone would rather hear about Dylan Rounds and the information you're advertising of having never seen anything so strange as Warlike Ref. Well, it's because I'm abstract art. I'm like a chair upside down. You know, it doesn't quite make sense. But if you want me to be clear and direct and straight to the point, I can be right now. So, Tay Henry, you appear to have a default profile, which is no surprise there. Oh, you joined 2016, not really done much since or progressed, have you? You got 0 content on your channel and 0 contribution to the case. So, really, your points are irrelevant. Okay, there we go. That's straight to the point. What else do we have? Brian, what do you have? You're mentioned in quite a few of your... Okay, yeah, that was sorted. That's fine. Keep the peace and balance, will do. Glenda says, hello, Ref News. That got a good ring to it. Now, interesting thing is, Glenda, at one point in the past, I don't know if it was a video or a subtitle, I did call it Ref News when I introduced the CCTV footage of Kenny Veach supposedly speaking for the first time on YouTube back then. I even had like a news template like hovering around on the screen with articles going across at the bottom. I can't remember how I did it now. I think I used a green screen or something. It was kind of fun to do. We got Cleo, appreciate the patience, reasoning, perseverance, and the case. Q. What else do we have? Oh my God, I didn't even pin my own comment. God, I'm really lacking. Never mind. Joseph, appreciate you addressing. Yep, that's solved. Here we are. So this is where we move on to the interesting, you could call it, word it in a certain way, development. So Tom Evans says, last night on the Shack Lady, it was revealed that there was blood found in the pole barn hole. I'm trying to better understand this new evidence. That's new to me. Okay. To be fair, it's new to me as well. Okay. Just see what the responses are. Joseph says, hi, that's not new evidence. That's about 3 months old. That's how they know Brenner did this, not to mention the blood on the boot. Believe me, Brenner's the only one involved with Dylan going missing. It'll take some time, but the truth will come out entirely. There's enough facts in this case. We just need Dylan. I mean, you could argue that and say, there's been a fair few facts here and there, but they have switched and changed. So it can make you rethink things. You take a step back and question, is that person really responsible? Are they really the sole and only person? You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it can be kind of countered, some of those points. Let's just see what else. What's this? Okay, the other interesting thing is, I can't remember if it was in my chat. I think it might have been in my chat or somebody else's, just very recent, like yesterday. And people were praising the Shack Lady, saying she's redeemed herself. I don't quite understand what people mean by that. Is it like she's been able to come back without bringing the drama? Just inviting the right people onto the show and directly talking about the case, like with Ty Corbin, or like with Bob, or whoever you call him, the one with no teeth, or I don't know. I'm confused, to be honest, with some people. But you get the idea, right? And then praising Black Dove as well. Oh, they're all together, they're talking, great, great, great. But then let's just see what Joseph has to say, because there's no harm. Because you got to take in mind, Joseph has participated in other people's live streams, like the Shack Lady, including Indiana. So there's no harm listening to what they have to say, because they've got experience with listening in on other chats. So that's why we're doing that. Joseph says, it's gone to the point, it's really annoying to hear Black Dove still wanting to create these false narratives and rabbit holes. Interesting that, because I've not always listened to Black Dove because I've been doing my own thing, but Black Dove supposedly had quite a good reputation within the case, and a lot of people praised him. But is it true that Black Dove has been dragging things out and spreading false narratives? Is that really true? I mean, there's been a lot of rumours and false narratives over time, but that's been by a range of like different people. So what, does Black Dove play a part, or has he just started recently? Let me know your thoughts, and if you got any additional points, Joseph. Okay. Joseph also goes on to say, the facts have been the facts since the first month. They have Brenner, they know Brenner did this, they can't give us all the information. Dylan's not alive or missing, his body is in the desert. Candice said 3 months ago they had body fluids. They've got enough facts, they know what happened to Dylan. It's just finding him that we should be talking about. He's within 20 miles of that farm, and these people just blaming law enforcement and creating rabbit holes is just annoying for views. It's not even fun half the time, much less factual. That's why I appreciate your channel. Yours is both. So what Joseph means by that is, like, if you like relating it back to me, we've looked at theories, okay, without claiming the facts. That's the helpful part. If people see the title, they'll know what is what, what's true, what's possible, and what's completely false. So it's kind of straight to the point. Then we just look at alternatives as we go along, just in case. And the reason why I like to create alternatives is so there is an alternative direction to go in. Because if you get lost or it comes to a dead end, whatever you're looking into, you need to be able to move on elsewhere in a different direction. So that's why we do that. And some of them remain open for interpretation down the line. Some are strengthened and reinforced, the points, later. So it's all good. What else? What is this? Andrew Culver. Last night's live was really good. I'm not sure. Is he? I guess he's returned. Shack Lady. What's this? Shack Lady says, no, it's not new revelations. It's been carefully spoken about months ago, not so direct. Okay. So you saw from some of those comments, kind of interesting, especially Robert's. Don't know who he really is, but maybe he'll respond after. If there's any updates regarding him or developments, map analysis, cameras, whatever it may be, we'll take a look at. But specifically focusing on the Shack Lady, where she said, these aren't new revelations, just like how Joseph said it at the time, right? Joseph, Shack Lady seem to think in line with one another, same wavelength. But then again, if Joseph has watched the Shack Lady at times, which he has done, he's going to hear about things. Other people who may not watch because they don't know, or they're too busy doing other things, they're kind of on the outside. But that's just how it is sometimes, or often I might be on the outside because I'm looking at other stuff, okay? But, when you get all these different people, you put them all together, and then all the ideas can be shared. So my response to the Shack Lady's comment there is about not new revelations. Technically, not new revelations, but maybe worded in a new way now. More confirmed, more reinforced, right? More specific to exactly what bodily fluids they are, to what substance, to what evidence, to what biological matter was found. And that's the key line, biological matter, because previously, when the Shack Lady did bring it up, I guess in her live stream, but also in one of my video comments, which was helpful, okay? These short little comments extracted from 11-hour video That's good, straight to the point, I like that. But yes, biological matter, if I'm correct in saying, Shack Lady, was the careful wording and term of it used back then, without saying it's directly blood. Biological matter. So at that time, which wasn't that long ago, I did my map analysis and trying to figure out, was Dylan struck over the head by Brenner? Did the vehicle reverse into him, like an accident, possibly? Loss of control, not braking by Brenner, if he's reversing it in. Dylan has a seizure, vomit comes out in some way, and that's the matter. But now, it seems to be blood, right? If it's blood, could it still be accidental if we're referring back to the previous theories? Maybe, if the truck hit his head fairly hard and then he landed on the ground isn't like concrete, so you're not going to smash your head on a rock. It's dirt. It could be compact, but not enough to cause a head injury, unless there's a stone or a little rock nearby you land on. But if it's just a force and impact from the vehicle, blood could leak out the ears or the nose, maybe the mouth, possibility, it depends how it was struck. And if it wasn't that, the idea of this blood being found there, maybe shot like that, you wouldn't think strangled though, would you? If blood has been found there, it kind of rules out the strangling. Normally when someone's strangled, there's really no blood involved, right? Unless you might use like razor thin wire or something and it cuts in to the skin and it might start to bleed a little. Or if you used a tool, blunt instrument or a sharp object could be penetrated in and cause blood to seep out. That's the other way. But we're talking about Brenner and his style and pattern of behaviour, okay? Shootings, fatal or not, in the past. Shooting on sight, firing warning shots, maybe being defensive of the odd person, such as a girlfriend or maybe just a friend, right? It tends to be with a gun, okay? You type back with that Walmart receipt, or wherever it was from, we're buying ammunition, a missing pistol too. That could have well been used to directly take Dylan out himself. And even though I've explained it there on the spot, if you don't quite understand it, or if not everyone is here to listen, I can do just a brief, even if it's a short one, just a visual explanation of this blood theory and how it would have come about. Apologies in advance. Certain parts may sound repeated, as I just said there, but there's no harm in doing a dedicated, singular, shorter video about that visually to extract from this longer video, because you heard me say recently about focusing in on certain key points of interest. Okay, so I think that's something we can definitely do. I mean, that summarises the comments that were made. As for the Shack Lady, she'll probably, there might be other things she knows of which she hasn't revealed yet, or she just words in a certain way, or she might share with certain contacts, and that's just how it is. I mean, it makes sense. At times you might not be allowed to reveal stuff. If someone higher up or elsewhere has passed it on and said you can't share it, or you got to be careful how you word things, you just got to follow those like orders in a way, because it could impact someone or it could harm the case. You never know. That's why you've got to be careful and cautious, right? So in the meantime, what I'll do right now is set up a poll in the background, another one, to do with that map analysis I was telling you about. So would you like to see a video, a dedicated, focused video about the blood pole grain shed within, the possible methods of how Dylan was hurt, and just give my thoughts and opinions, maybe a little bit more deeper, and just dedicate a video to that? Would you like to see that? Make sure to vote right now and throughout, okay? And we'll see, because although I may have covered it in some way beforehand, now I can do an updated one and add more to it, or rule out certain other things, debunk stuff, right? It's useful. It's some form of progress, right? That's why, just like researching, there's no harm in returning back to a location as like what you see on the maps too, with it like a story, a theory, an event. Why not? So yeah, with that aside, okay, the court case, I saw a post by the Shack Lady, I saw a comment by someone else. Interesting, I can't seem to find it, but we'll take a look at what the Shack Lady has to say shortly, okay? Just briefly said, speaking of polls, I actually did create one in the last video, okay? Kind of an interesting one, a bit more unique, different compared to all the others. And it was titled with, who is the most dodgiest person, okay? I don't think I can show you the results on screen because I think polls are only visible and votable during an actual live stream or live video premiere. When you watch the videos back afterwards, the chat might be there, but the voting isn't, I think. I'm sure that's the case because when I have rewatched videos, I don't see all the voting taking place. So it's one of those things, unfortunately. But I do remember the results, okay? So the shortlist was the dodgiest people: Warlike Raph, Pancakes, Jim Terry, or Bella V, okay? And I use those names because it's people within the Dylan Rounds case who are still active in some way or another, who have their own channels and create videos and have some form of audience, okay? And, you know, I saw it as the votes went underway. You saw it switching and changing poll position. Oh, who's going to reach it? Who's going to be voted as the most dodgiest of persons? And it was Pancakes. What the hell went on there? My God, the votes have been rigged. My God, I've been robbed. My God, I might as well be living in the US right now because these voting elections are so all over the place. I have no idea what's going on, man. I need to be brought back into the office. Like, what's happened? Like, Pancakes, the dodgiest person, voted. What's going on? I mean, if it was Jim Terry voted as the most dodgiest people out there, it would make sense because some people will interpret it as dodgy in terms of a con man, but then other people will be interpreting it as dodgy in kind of like how I define dodgy differently. With like the content and, you know, the stuff he creates on his channel, it would make sense. But Pancakes, aside from having like a peg on one's nose, what other sound is produced by him? I don't know. Kind of confused there. So yeah, very disappointing. I mean, I thought I was the dodgiest person, and yet, look at that poll from last night. Pancakes won it. What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? Like, what can I do? Oh, wait, what's that? What's that? I'm sure I can hear some kind of ringing in my ear. Maybe it's the vibrations from the phone. Oh no, 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 not again. Don't tell me this is Pancakes. Please don't tell me it's Pancakes. Here to rub it in to say he's the best, he's the most dodgiest, he's taken the prestigious award away from me. Pancakes, why you gotta do it to me like this? Yeah. Hello? Hello? Wait, why is it still ringing? Oh my God, how many more disposable burner phones do I have? Not quite like Brenner. Let me just put that aside. Oh, I know. That's it. It's the banana phone. I forgot, it's multifunctional. Let me just... How does this work? Let me plug this in. Ah! Fuck me, that's really sore. That was a bad idea. Oh my God. It's like a nipple clamp, but elsewhere. I've got it right on the back, the tip of my ear. What the fuck have I just done? Oh my God, it's gonna go red. This is really burning. This is hurting, man. Yeah. Come on. Oh my God, it's pinged out. Well, that was stupid. Why can't I get it on the tip? Sorry, whoever's on the other end of the phone. Ah. Oh my God, that's actually painful, that, does it? I can't really bend my ear that much. Never mind. Let's just answer the phone now, okay? I don't know. Hello? Hello?
This is Gorilla Jack. Hello, Raffy.
No, no, Gorilla Jack, do not call me dad, do not call me dad. You know, it all originated from Indiana. We know, we don't want the word to be spread. You know, we don't want the rest of the whole world to know that my name is now called Raffy. No, 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 no. It'll destroy my reputation, man. You can't do this to me.
He enjoys long walks on the beach with his pet rat and hanging out in a yellow shed late at night.
My God, Gorilla Jack, you saying that I'm near a beach? Think again, man. I'm just surrounded by a lot of bushes and big trees. Yeah, you're completely off the mark this time. Don't worry, man. Don't worry, man. I'll be talking to you later. Excuse yourself. And don't burn down the banana shed. It's valuable. Priceless. Okay? Yeah. Bye, Jack. My God. God, my ear's burning. Is it red? Why does my ear keep pinging back like a fucking twang? Is it red? I don't know. I can't see. Oh, for God's sake, why is the phone ringing again? Oh my God. Okay, let me just see. Right, here we go. Weedleby, hello? How are you? You on the road? No? Not this time. Oh wow, where are you? On the bed? Whoa, 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 easy there. Easy there, easy there. What? Oh, you want to do FaceTime? You want to FaceTime me? Okay, okay. Let me just set up. Yeah, I can't show you just in case. You know, you never know what might flash up on the screen. We don't want to get done by YouTube, so I'll just hold the phone in front of me, and you can see by my own facial reactions how I may react. Okay. So let's just accept this video call. Yeah, press green, tick. Okay, hi Weedleby. So I don't know if you know about it, but you know, have you seen the poll? Have you seen the results of the poll? I'm not even the dodgiest person. That's been taken away from me, just like with the big banana, the original one. Like, what am I supposed to do, Weedleby?
No offense, but I'm busy. I don't have time. I don't have time for this little bullshit right now, okay? I'm sorry. I'm a busy person.
No, no, don't be so rude, Weedleby. Don't say it like that. It matters. It matters a lot, you know? Hello? Hello? She hung up on me. How rude, you know. It's so saddening, you know, when people respond like that. I mean, like, it's I just can't put it into words. I am like breathless, just like Cleo. Like, what am I supposed to do? I mean, even this is a fucking challenge in itself. Like, how are you supposed to dab away your tears when your fucking glasses are wonky, Stoney? I mean, come on, Stoney. I mean, like, does it get any harder than this, man? I mean, it's a complete fucking mess, isn't it? Like, what am I supposed to do, Stoney, with these wonky glasses? You tell me wear glasses? Look at you. Look at your glasses. My God, if your glasses are wonky, what's your driving like? Is it as bad as Weedleby? Oh no, maybe I'll find out someday when you come crashing into the back wall, man. It'd be probably good content, you crash into the back of the wall, but there we go. So, I don't know. I'm sure Weedleby will probably... Okay. I'm sure Weedleby will probably, you know, come out with some kind of weird edit with this, what's going on right now. So, you know, is there really much else? Well, of course, there is much more to cover to do with Dull and Rounds, don't you worry, we'll get to that. But just briefly, just before I forget, okay, we need to cover Stoney herself. Not cover her literally, but no. Oh, I forgot, it's all loose. I'll have to readjust that. So basically, Stoney, if you saw it in the last live chat, I think it was, she was saying about how does one whip? You know, how do you wield? How do you master the art of whipping someone? Well, don't worry, I can teach you how to do it. Because you never know, in any real life situation, Stoney, whether you're dealing with an idiot, a weird individual, or more drama resistance elsewhere on YouTube, you need to be able to have some defense mechanisms, okay? Gorilla Jack has his own, Weedleby has some too, okay? You just need to implement some into your routine as well, Stoney, and that includes the whip like this, okay? Now, if there's any other people nearby, Betty Haywood, if you're here right now, welcome. You can learn this as well for whatever reason. You know, there's many ways it can be learned, okay? If Betty Haywood isn't here right now, if anyone that's present right now knows of Betty Haywood, feel free to guide her over to this video at this timestamp so she can learn, okay? So I'll need to stand up for this, okay? So it's not about me whipping someone today, it's more about a demonstration, okay? So for the people that are joining right now, welcome. This is about Dylan Rounds, or it at least was beforehand. We will be returning to the Dylan Rounds case and important discussions and the court case with Brenner shortly, okay? So if you want to check back in the next 10 minutes, feel free to do so. If you want to stick around, even better, okay? Make sure to spread that message in case other people join later. So, first of all, Stoney, Betty, whoever you are, okay? You need a whip. If you don't have a whip, a belt does the job, if not better, okay? If you don't have that, if you've got some kind of plant vegetation that's kind of long and floppy, okay, and has a bit of roughness to it, okay, and it's got a bit of weight as well, that can work too, okay? As for Betty Haywood as an alternative, if you're running low on resources, sacrifice one of your many headband collections and you can use that as a whip too, okay? So as I said, multifunctional, just like with Weedleby, okay? So you grab the end of it. It depends. If you want to be sadistic, you'll hold it the other end so the buckle will make contact with whoever or whatever, okay? There's been the odd person in the chat that has taken the buckle. I can't remember who it was, but I believe it was a male, okay? It might have been Wes, it might have been Joseph, it might have been Brian, you know, endless list, right? But it was at least someone, okay? I don't know if it was King Salmon, probably not, you know, he's on TRT, no, he's not even on TRT, he's on a fucking higher level unknown to most humans. So I don't think he would have taken it because he's got higher priorities to be focusing on. But, you know, don't worry. So let's just do the safer option. Hold the end so it's dangling like that, okay? You want it to be dangling and kind of rocking back and forth. Turn around slightly so you kind of like twist your body in when you're about to whip. Grab so far up, okay? Not in the middle, but kind of just below the middle part like that, okay? And I'll just use my hand as a blocker, like a barrier, to prevent you, Stoney, from getting whipped because I don't think it's quite time. Unless you start pleading in the chat, then, you know, things can be arranged. But yeah, hold it like this, okay? Draw it out like that, like a catapult, and then whip it in. Twist your body with the motion and, oh yeah, oh. You see? You hear the sound, you see the twist of the body, the grip of the hand. You need a firm grip. If you don't grip it hard, it will fall out of your hands. And then the person in front of you, you know, they can, you know, come after you, okay? One more time, hold it like this, firm grip, bring it back, draw it back, and then twist the body inwards whilst bringing the whip in. 1, 2, yeah. Okay. One person did say, oh, your hands are red. I don't even know if they were talking to me, but of course they're going to be red. I'm really whipping on a daily basis. What do you expect the body, how it's supposed to react? And then fucking Indiana afterwards saying, oh, what hand do you use? And I'm like, left-handed. And then fucking Indiana, and then Wes like, oh, yeah. And I was like, no, oh my God. It was a trap. It was a trap all along. Yeah. God, I should never have answered. Never mind. So, oh, Stoney. Oh, you suddenly do need it. Okay, fine, okay. You ready, Stoney? Yeah? You turning around? Yeah? Standing still, do not move? Yeah? You want another one? Yeah? Yeah? Whoa, easy, Stoney. One more. Okay, I lied. An extra one. The reason why I'm not giving Stoney too many whips is because if she needs to drive elsewhere to other places, whatever the reason, she needs to be able to sit down in the seat comfortably, okay? If not, it'll be an uncomfortable ride. Isn't that right, Stoney? Okay? As for Betty, you know, wouldn't be surprised right now if she's just sat there thinking, oh God, is it my turn next? You know, probably like this. Don't worry, Betty. You don't have to do anything, okay? But just as a little reminder, whenever you do show up, Betty, you can say or do whatever you want here. You can be as dodgy as you want or as innocent as you want, whatever it may be, okay? I think another key point to add in when it comes to Linda Cushing, okay? We've got a few different Lindas, but the main one is Linda Cushing, okay? I don't know if they've made any cushions after you. Maybe your face is imprinted on one. I don't know. But let's just say, okay? And I don't know how long it's been now. Linda Cushing has not drunk alcohol for some time now. And yet I've made references ever since. But to be honest, it's an easy mistake to make at the end of the day. Because, you know, I've just been getting mixed up with Linda Gushing, an alternative person, whoever that is. Who is Linda Gushing? I don't know. Well, they just keep touching the bottle, okay? Or maybe it's some like secret alternative name for me, some kind of weird mirror, like I'm so jealous of Linda being clean of alcohol that I'm the one that's turning up at all the AA meetings and saying, hello, my name's Warlight Rath. I have drunk many, many bottles of alcohol. Thank you. Yeah, thank you everyone. Thank you everyone. You know, round of applause, please. Thank you. What's going on? I don't know. So I think that's sorted now. Stoney knows how to whip, okay? If you are driving right now, Stoney, don't try and whip that wheel. Oh my God, that's cringy, that. Because you probably end up ploughing into something or someone. We don't want that, man. No. So, let's put that aside. Let's focus back in. We're now focused back with the Dylan Rounds case, okay? So, what we need to take a brief look at now is that whole court case, court date, which supposedly was yesterday. Let's first take a look at the Facebook page. Right, so once again, look who we've got on screen, Donna H A. I believe we looked at her yesterday or the day before. Post 13 hours ago, directly linked to Candice. Cooley mentioned her, saying, I had my calendar. Jim Brenner had court today at, I guess, 1:30 p.m. Do we know anything about it yet? And that would have been from yesterday. Just remember time zone difference. Actually, you would have seen me mention it in my video at the time because I know people were getting like prepared and ready for it. You had the Shack lady getting her live stream ready. I guess it was going to be one of those things where people get together and listen in on it and hear what the result is. But let's just check the reply here. Okay. Candice Cooley directly responds, which is good. And she says, it is nothing, get rid, go. Candice Cooley says, it is nothing to do with Dylan's case. Donna says, yes, I knew. It's weapons charge, but still needed him locked up for possibilities. Candice says, I agree, and things are moving forwards and he isn't going anywhere. That's a small win in its own way. And Lorraine says, dang it, prayers to all. Okay, is there much significance of this? Well, first of all, Donna's like, you know, is anything happening? Okay, it's supposedly underway. What's the result? What's the verdict? It seems very quiet. That's the common theme. It's quiet. I've looked on YouTube. I've looked at videos. No live streams, no videos, no one really talking about it. You thought people like other YouTubers would have jumped on in to it, like with Ida How Thought. That doesn't seem to be the case. Is there anything of interest what Candice Cooley says? I mean, I guess it's the first time Candice Cooley is being clear and direct and actually telling the truth without it switching and changing that it's got nothing to do with the Dylan's case because it's gun charges, right? We well, for most part of it, we all know that, right? At least it's just a small positive that Candice Cooley actually worded it clearly, considering it's been confusing in the past with like other stuff in the case, more related to Dylan, right? But she does say that things are moving forwards, as we've heard, in the last few posts, saying that he isn't going anywhere. That's a small win. And the reason why that's a small win, just for the simple fact that, Brenner is where he's at. He's protected, which is a positive in its own right. You might wonder, well, why is that? He doesn't deserve to be protected. It's because if he was out in the open, he could be a target to some people. You might get vigilantes getting revenge. They might take him out for good. Let's just use that as an extreme example. And then what? Brenner's taken out. Then you can't really get true justice. He doesn't get sent down. He doesn't get locked away for good. It's like the easier way out in a way. So it wouldn't be fair. So whilst Brenner is in jail, and whilst, like how we've seen previously, it being delayed, the court case, you look back in 2022, and although you could say, oh, why is it being delayed? It's good. It enables time to be able to gather more evidence, maybe build a stronger case, find Dylan. So then they can nail it home, right? But this is the thing. This court case, right, is to do with gun charges, which has nothing to do with Dylan's case, as worded by Candice Cooley. So why does it need to be delayed so much? I mean, like, if this case was to do with Dylan Rounds and it kept being delayed, it makes sense. Clearly makes sense. It's like, we're delaying it because we need to go off and find some more evidence for this particular case, right? But no, this is to do with gun charges. So why does this case, which has nothing to do with Dylan, why is it being delayed? How can it be delayed and linked to Dylan if this case isn't linked to Dylan to begin with? There's no correlation when you think of it. Do you get what I'm saying? I'll do a poll anyway, just to see what your thoughts are in the mix of things. Do you believe that Brenner's court case is constantly being delayed because of the Dylan Rounds case, even though they're two separate, like, court-related cases? I want to know your thoughts down below. Okay? Because it just seems a bit weird. And as well, with Candice Cooley saying he's not really going to go anywhere, I mean, it's like, does it really matter if it is delayed or not? Like, he's probably going to get charged for something. He's going to get charged for a certain length of time, right? And when they look back at his past history, that'll probably play some kind of deciding factor too, okay? But yeah, Candice Cooley is still being positive here, which is still good. It kind of highlights that something must be going right in the background for Candice Cooley to not be complaining yet. So now let's just head on over to the Shack Lady's post and see what she's had to say about this court case. So as you can see on screen, this is the post by Shack Lady in the community tab 6 hours ago, so quite recent. And she says, "Hello Shack Pack, I apologise for not being able to do the live stream last night. There's a reason, but for now I'm working on some things for the next stream, coming soon. So heads up when you get your notification on a spur of the moment within a day or so. Could not find out anything about the court day events yesterday, interestingly." Okay, so there seems to be an overall level of silence, right? Is it a big surprise? I mean, I guess when you get these, I'm not directly saying Dylan, but when you get these lesser known cases or not as high profile ones, things might go on behind the scenes more. You might not really hear about it. Maybe if there's a odd local person around in the area listening in or visiting, attending, then they can cover it. But if most people are looking towards the inside, but they're on the outside, they probably might not hear much. As for Dylan Rounds, it is kind of a popular case in a way, but maybe it's been overshadowed by other events and cases recently with all their press conferences, press releases and coverage maybe, and other YouTubers focusing more time on other cases. That could be a result. But, the Shack Lady returning in time, and, she's kind of gone deep with some information and she seems to hold a fair bit of information too over time. So if she can't find much on the court case and other people can't, And Candice Cooley doesn't mention much. It's kind of like, oh, well, that's a bit of a dead end, right? Is it even happening? That's the real question. Has it actually happened? Yes or no? I don't know if I'll do a poll right now. Maybe I'll do another poll a bit later. Just briefly in the chat right now, if you know, just leave a yes or no. Yes, the court case is underway or it's already happened, or no, it's not happened. It's been delayed. Just give your thoughts right now. So yeah, I'm sure the Shack lady, I guess when we're talking of time zone difference, like last night for me or approaching early hours of the morning of today, Shack lady was supposed to go live. And I think she might have mentioned that in one of the comments when responding back to me, I think. And yeah, it didn't happen. Who knows why? She says she's working on some things for the next stream. I guess like working on more information or sorting it out, talking to others in the background possibly, getting people onto the panel, the timings, the schedule maybe. But yeah, this whole court case has gone a little bit quiet, kind of like with Chase Venstra. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Like, if the case has happened or it's still underway, is it good that it's more behind the scenes and it's more quiet? Or is it better public? What are your thoughts on it? I mean, maybe it's not being covered that much because, in the words of Candice Cooley, it's got really nothing to do with the Dylan Brown's case. So that could be it. But then again, let's be realistic. What about the first court appearance, what we saw months ago? Wasn't that to do with the gun charges too? But not like what it is like now. Because Brenner did appear in court the first time. Candice Cooley did appear there. And so did some others, like Glorenheim or Glorin, whatever you call her. She was inside watching. And people on YouTube analysed it and covered it. So Brenner in the court received coverage then, but not now, all of a sudden. So something's changed. Surely it must be the fact that it's been delayed. But then, I don't know. I mean, the reason why I'm kind of back and forth about it is partly because of my predictions in the past, saying how I wouldn't be surprised if when January comes it gets delayed once again to February, right? That's what my original prediction was before Christmas, if you remember. I'm sure some of you do. Just today, the comment, what I referred to earlier in the video, disappearing, was by Tom Evans. Tom Evans did leave a comment somewhere, I can't seem to find it now, saying that Brenner's court case has been delayed by February the 20th or so. That's like 2 days after my birthday. And it's like, oh, is that true? Is it? I mean, like with Tom Evans, you know, he's not someone to go around spreading lots of misinformation. You know, he does mention some good points at times in the chat. I mean, been the odd occasion where he's been misdirected or he's misheard something and then he's deleted the comment afterwards. So I don't know if that's the same case here. I'm sure Tom can confirm whatever in the chat right now or later. But yes, I did see the comment before it disappeared, and it was Brenner's court case has been delayed by February the 20th. If that really did happen, I'm not saying it did, but if it did, then it wouldn't surprise me in a way. But then after reading the post by Candice Cooley and her tone of voice, and like saying it's got nothing to do with Dylan, it's like, well, then what's the point in it being delayed, okay? I mean, you look at Chase Venstra, how his court case, or his extradition case, whatever you call it, has been delayed, the extradition. It's like, why? Why? It's got nothing to do with Dylan. It's like gun charges, unrelated. That's been delayed. With Brenner, that's been delayed. Is there some kind of delayed process when it comes to gun charges in Utah or something? Does anyone know? Like, what's going on? Are there other cases, other people out there getting delayed, pushed back and back? Is there some kind of secret event going on or some internal issues? Like, why is it taking this long? Okay. I want to know your thoughts. Now, did I do a poll before about the case? I can't remember if I did it now or not. I'll be able to check back though and resolve that. So yeah, we've got Shack Lady not really hearing much on the event, saying it's interesting. Like, oh, why is the secrecy? Is that more important? Is that better? Candice Cooley not really too interested, but still maintaining positivity in general. And you got Tom Evans saying it's been delayed. And then yeah, kind of all over the place, right? With that in mind, can we honestly make sense of it? Maybe not right now, unless there's people in the chat that can explain the situation, or after this video later on in the comment section, feel free to do so. I mean, I can try and make sense of it right now if you want me to. I mean, I could try and contact Pancakes, maybe he'll know, because, you know, he's the master of all knowledge, wealth, and human life out there, I guess. No harm. Let me just dial it in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. Okay. Okay. It's just ringing. It's just ringing. Give me a second. Give me a second. Okay. Yeah. Hello. Hello. Yeah. Is that Mr. Pancakes? Yeah.
I used to do your Western Unions. It's going to blow you away. It's going to fucking blow you away. It blew me away. I never thought to look this person up.
What the fuck was that? Yeah, yes, yeah. Jim Terry, looks like I contacted the wrong guy. Sorry. Yeah, bye. Damn. That was a little bit awkward, wasn't it? But what was that whole talk about blowing me away, blowing other people away, him blowing himself? I'm kind of confused. But I'll say one thing. You know, okay, you might get Mr. X with his magic stick of explosives. You have no idea what's in my inventory. You thought Teddy, Mr. Teddy Bundy and his crowbar was enough. Well, maybe someday I'll open up my toolkit a little wider and then you can see what's within, okay? Well, for the time being, okay? Yeah, just like the colour of this magic robe. You're not the only guy with a stick of dynamite in his drawers. Yeah, I've been hiding this away for some time, man. I was waiting for the right, perfect moment. Because if I pulled this up at any other time, I'd probably get taken away, man. I mean, who else has a stick of dynamite in here? No clue. You know what? There you go. Any bad behaviour? Yeah. So this is great, isn't it? So I'm just going to safely put it down, okay? We don't want any, you know, disruptions, right, in this live premiere, okay? So let's just put it down, okay? See? Soft landing. So, after all that, we return back to the Dylan Rounds case and discussion, okay? If you are new to this, we are checking back at previous discussions in forums to see if there's any information that's been missed, looked over, if it needs updating, if any key questions or events can come out of this. We've done so for some time now. We keep it up because we might as well be consistent, okay? You never know what's found. Previously, some viewers have said they've learned new things by reading into this. So that's what we're going to do. Continue on from page 9, okay? So we've still got the known people commenting. Guess who responds to Regina saying they did so much wrong, then try to claim they do know how to do things correctly because they are a large county. It's not helping them at all. It's like doing their jobs in that part of the county is just too much of a bother for them. It also makes one wonder if somebody with pull there is involved. So this is to do with the blood, the DNA, which is interesting because we were talking about the blood earlier in this poll grain shed. So we've got links there, it's still relevant. But we're also talking about the police, LE, and how they've handled things with time. We also mentioned it earlier in this video about that article, the end of year review on 2022, where it was as if the LE were seen as good and doing everything right, doing nothing wrong. But, you know, it's questionable, and many people seem to think like that. We can do a poll now and tie it in with this idea of it being a big county, okay? With it being in the middle of nowhere where it's so desolate and it takes time to get out there. Do you think in a different environment, if Dylan went missing in a less rural, vast place, okay? It doesn't have to be a city. It could just be closer to the police station, let's say. If Dylan Rounds went missing in a different, more practical environment, would the LE have handled the case better? Yes, no. Feel free to vote right now. I say that because I think that maybe the LE were like, oh God, we've got to go out there again, cover all that distance, all that mileage, down the long roads, and the heat as well. You know, maybe they were being a bit petty, or maybe they were raising valid points. It's quite draining there and back, because I'm sure Candice Cooley, when she wasn't criticising the LE, was saying how the LE are far away and they've got to keep coming back and forth. I think she said like the nearest police station is like 52 miles away. Correct me if I'm wrong. It was a great number of distance. And you're doing that every single day, let's say, because you're not camping out in the area from the looks of it. I mean, gas prices, but also fatigue, physical, mental fatigue kicking in if you're trying to solve the case and you've got to cover the distance as well. Maybe they're revolted and they're like, no, it's just not practical. No, I'm not going to do this. Leave your thoughts. Why not? Grandma Bear says, it sounds like an odd and interesting area and quite possibly a dangerous one. Not my opinion. That comes from Dylan's mother. Anti-government types, etc. I think she said, and yeah, I imagine if so, they wouldn't take too kindly to LE. Wait, there's a full stop. Anti-government types. Wait, who's this referring to? Wait, is Grandma Bear calling out the LE as anti-government, or is she saying Candice Cooley is anti-government? Because both seem weird. It doesn't make sense, that. Whatever. Kimster replies back to Debuts. I think I remember the mom briefly stating that it was being tested. Well, at one point it was. Also says, wouldn't it be terrible if the blood was tested and they couldn't use it in court because it wasn't collected correctly? I'm afraid of that same scenario. I mean, yeah, I kind of understand that with the LE handling the boots and the blood there. If they handled it incorrectly, if they delayed it, postponed it, which they did, if they chucked the boots on the back of the truck, not exactly handling with care, it could negatively impact the evidence within the case. That's bad, right? But the other section of blood in the pole grain shed, which was, talked about by Shack Lady, and especially talked about by Candice Cooley in the past, bodily fluids, blood there associated with Dylan, another critical piece of evidence, and the hole was dug and I guess evidence collected by the FBI. So surely the FBI would have handled it a lot better. So if one area of evidence doesn't work out because of the LE and how they handled it, the FBI collecting their piece of evidence, that blood and stuff, should be okay. So there's still positives, okay? I want to know your thoughts, though, on this in any area, okay? So whilst there might be a lack of this and that, the evidence collected, supposedly classified as a fairly strong case made in that journal or that article, I guess. Do you think that any of the evidence collected has been negatively impacted by the LE or even Candice Cooley? And I'm not talking about evidence that could have been evidence, like the distance of Dylan's truck being deleted, Brenner's phone data not being collected in time. I'm talking about the actual physical evidence, DNA collected, that stuff. Do you think any of that has been negatively impacted so it becomes ineffective? Let's do a poll right now. Feel free to vote, okay? What else do we have? Kimster. The high crime rate could have something to do with the lack of law enforcement protection. Sounds to me like it's pretty scarce out there. Talk about the wild, wild west. One way of wording it, yeah. But also because of the distance, I guess, of the police station. So to be on call or being called out somewhere, it's not really practical, is it? So I guess people take things into their own hands and it's like anything goes. Sure, you'll probably get a police presence at times for like really serious stuff, but maybe for other things you can get away with it, right? Maybe that's why in these like rural areas you need a bit of a neighbourhood watch, but not in a corrupt way, maybe more in a just looking out for one another. I don't know if that applies to Montello. I know there's been those rumours of vigilante groups and all kinds of stuff going on like that, but, you know. Grandma says, yeah, but I also think they had claimed before to have turned them over and then she found they hadn't, so hopefully it is the truth. Time, who knows? Yeah. So the first time they said they handed them in, DNA testing the boots, they lied, and then it was later when they were handed in, so makes you wonder. Grandma says, I imagine that sheriff had better say goodbye to his job if that happens. At least the family will definitely have something to say about it. It seems likely, though, the evidence truly wasn't protected. Yep. Kimster says, what's this? Oh, long one. These guys have just been plugging along doing their job, blah, 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 every day with all the crime in the area, and now the whole country is looking at them. I hope this does help the citizens in that area and have some better law enforcement. I don't usually call them out like this, but this time it just seems really bad. Not marking the area where the boots were as a potential crime scene. Are you kidding me? Yeah, no true crime scene tape or anything like that. None of it. And yet, it was at Brenner's burnt down trailer, supposedly, when Lance himself was out there recently. He came across some blue tape around a tree and supposedly came across like a banner, an evidence banner. I guess it's like taping off the area. And that was by, Elko County and Box Elder Sheriff's Department. Both of them went down, I assume. I definitely know about Elko County going down. Well, if they used tape there as a potential crime scene or ongoing investigation at the time, why did they not use tape at the grain shed then, or Dylan's farm? Why use tape in one area, but not the main spot? You get what I'm saying? Seems a little bit weird, that. Feel free to talk about that in the chat right now. How tape was used at Brenner's burnt down trailer, but not at Dylan's place of living. Well, partially place of living and grain shed where it happened. What's this one? Okay. Grandma says, all sorts of things, and then letting the family break into and take the truck. I did think it is a bit unfair for the family to make that choice and then complain. Ellie let them, but even so, she has a point and family would be upset at the time and cops could know better and stop it. Yeah. I know what you mean about calling them out, and some of it seems a bit unfair to me. I mean, I do think the mom is not realising some of what she is seeing would be standard practice by most LE agencies. Share little with others, even family. Don't assume family is not involved, and so they feed different info to each. And I guess to a point cover their butts and make it sound like something has been done when it hasn't, etc. There's a good chance that at first, maybe, just maybe, they did the same old thing of assuming he was an adult and he left of his own accord or was partying, but with boots found and all his vehicles accounted for, that should have elevated the concern. Yeah, it's been worded fairly well, that, I guess. Oh, what's this one? Has this been shared on? Search for Box Elder continues 3 weeks after disappearance. Right, we'll just briefly go over this because this is like a shared post and shared article which we may have looked at. So this was 3 weeks after Dylan's disappearance. Farmer remains missing 3 weeks as he's last seen. Montello. Yeah. Says, official said Thursday the case is an active criminal investigation. Said brackets, we are, in quotes, we are looking at all avenues as to why he's missing. And that was by Chief Deputy Cade Palmer, who's had a few run-ins with Candice Cooley. who lived in a trailer at his farm, Lucin area. Well, technically he didn't live in the trailer. It was temporary, on and off. Says, our son did not walk into the desert and disappear, rounds mother Candice Cooley, Twin Falls. His farm and everything he's worked for is out there and someone knows something. Palmer declined to release further information about the disappearance due to the criminal investigation. But regarding the search, he said Box Elder deputies have covered 3,000 miles in their searching. Numerous law enforcement and search and rescue units have helped, such as Box Elder County Horse Posse, the Elko County, Nevada Sheriff's Office, Weber County Sheriff's Search and Rescue, and Utah Department of Public Safety's Aero Bureau. Is that the flyby they're referring to? There, Aero Bureau, like a plane flying over. One thing I'll tell you what is interesting, which I have heard for the first time, is a bit about the Box Elder County Horse Posse. So you remember, rewind maybe like a week or two ago when we were referring back to Aidan Clune, how that article, the year in 2022 article by Elko County where it said that there was a horse patrol covering distance searching for Aidan, and then I issued a question, was any horses used when looking for Dylan? And look here, it says Box Elder County Horse Posse was involved. Is that true? Yes, no? And just another point, what I will say, I'm sure Candice Cooley is aware, but do you like when they were talking about the whole horse situation, how Brenner's horse went one way and he went the other? You had these track marks going off. Is there any possibility that it might have been misunderstood with this horse posse or not? Different times? I don't know. But let me know your thoughts in the chat. Was the horse posse actually used and did it exist at the time? Or is it misinformation? Because I've never heard of it before. Okay? No one's really talked about it. And in the past, when I did ask out publicly, does anyone know if horses were used? Everyone was unsure. But it's worded like it is here, so that's interesting. And also, it says Box Elder deputies covered 3,000 miles when searching. Is that a lot? I mean, it sounds like a lot, but, over a period of time, I'm not quite sure. Right? I'm not working out on the spot, but leave your thoughts, okay? What's this? Grandma Bear says, maybe I shouldn't nitpick, but what is it with this department? He says they covered 3,000 miles in searching. Not sure what he's referring to, but let me just say this. If you travelled coast to coast in American, from west coast to east coast, it is 2,500 to 3,500 miles depending. And this county department has searched 3,000 miles. Do they maybe mean acres? Okay. I kind of understand what they mean now. Saying, what, 3,000 miles? That seems a lot. But I guess it depends how it's worded, right? You think 3,000 miles from start to finish, like how it's worded there, from west to east coast. That's because you're going onwards to somewhere. Maybe, I mean, they could say acres as well, but maybe what the sheriff, the department said was they have covered 3,000 miles, but like going in circles, or like going so far north, then east, then south, then west, then so far north, east, south, west, and just a total of all that distance covered. You can cover a lot of mileage without really going anywhere. If you've got a step counter, which tracks your steps, your time, your heartbeat rate, your mileage, and you just ran backwards and forwards in the same spot with a little bit of movement, okay? You could say, I've done 10,000 miles. And you could say that to a person who's actually gone on a 10,000 mile marathon. You see the contrast, and yet it's the same thing in a way. So that's probably what they mean. Guess who? Square miles, most likely. Still a lot, though. To put what they're saying in perspective, they're claiming to have searched the entire state of Connecticut and Rhode Island combined. So yeah, I guess it's putting into perspective if you're not thinking outside of the box. So I guess first glance you could say, oh, Boxelder County getting all the figures wrong. They can't even word it properly. Maybe you could argue that like how these people did, but you like think how I was thinking. It makes a bit more sense. Regina says, I went back to listen again to what all they said about that, and it appears to me that when a detective told the mother that the boots were kept to be used with cadaver dogs, they were actually at the lab for testing and analysis. She assumed that they weren't. Oh, well, that seems like the complete opposite of what's been said all this time. I was under the impression that they said they were going to take it to the lab. They didn't, because they wanted the dogs to sniff them out, but the dogs were delayed, so that never happened. And then at some point then they supposedly took it to the lab, but they didn't, and they lied to Candice, and then eventually they took it to the lab. But the way it's worded here from Regina, who's listened in on a video, I guess, is saying that the detective told the mother they were going to be kept with the dogs, the boots, but they were used and taken to the lab instead. And she assumed that they weren't. So they did lie, the LE, but not as drawn out. That's messy. What's this one? I'd like to be a little more clear regarding the misunderstanding surrounding the boots. The mother had been told on the 5th, the 2nd, that the boots were to be tested at the lab, but the comment from a detective on the 6th of the 4th caused her to question that. Okay. What's this one? Guess who? I don't think I could blame the mom on that. It seems they constantly contradict themselves to where nobody knows what to believe. But the mom, Candice Cooley, has contradicted herself too, so you can't just target one person. Regina says, I'm not sure there is a contradiction. It seems to me to have just been a misunderstanding. That can follow too. We've seen that within the case. And also the community misunderstandings. Grandma says, yes, I was talking linear, but to give an idea of just how many miles that it is to show the staggering thought and picture in one's mind that stretched out. One could travel across the continental US in that many miles. So yeah, linear. Mine wasn't talking in linear though. They probably didn't put a lot of thought into the remark, but this department has itself under enough scrutiny publicly, and the mother has them there as well. They might want to think twice about such an outlandish claim such as that before uttering it. So we'll just do another poll right now. Supposedly, if it has been cleared up, I've not heard it since. You can correct it down below in the chat. But if the LE have supposedly covered 3,000 miles, is that true or is that a lie? Feel free to vote right now. And if it's a lie, you can clear it up in the chat and say, well, actually, it was this or that, okay? Regina, what's this? According to utah.gov, Utah consists of 84,900 square miles. Quite a bit. Grandma says, I recall something on the order of it being said that days after they thought the boots were taken and being tested and processed, it was found that the boots were still in the back of the detective's car or truck, something like that. I remember feeling shocked at the fact they were not taken care of properly and chain of evidence, etc. wasn't observed. Yeah. And finally, Grandma says, that is a lot. Unless they have searched more since, his mother talked as if they did very little searching and quit after less than 24 hours from when they first came out, went home, came back the next day, and then called it quits. Probably more has occurred though since that time, maybe. So yeah, I think that will do for that part of the forum and discussion. Right, so to be fair, that page of the forum was actually quite interesting. There were some key points which have made me question a few things, and the odd point which I've not heard of before from, my experience, right? We've all looked at different things with time. Some may know everything, other people may only know little bits, right? And other people will know outside of the box ideas and points. A range of stuff there. You can list your thoughts about that forum discussion there in the chat right now, or later on in the comment section. But yeah, interesting. Now, we're not finished, okay? I hope you're ready, okay? It's my final attempt to try and reach out to the pancakes guy, okay? Because, you know, SpongeBob pancakes, I've not seen him for a while, okay? Last time he was wearing some shorts and that was it, okay? You remember? You remember when he made an appearance? Ever since, not heard of him. So I don't know what's gone on, but, you know, is he even aware? Is Salty Pancakes even aware he won the award for the most dodgiest person? I don't know. I mean, I think I need to get some tips. It must be what they put in the pancake mixtures in America, which makes him more dodgy than me, I guess. But, you know, to try and learn about how to be a better person, maybe I can learn from him. Sorry. I don't know what came out then. I must be drunk, like Kurt. Sorry. Apologies. It's an easy mistake to make. But, you know, that aside, I need to contact Pancakes right now to, you know, inform him on his award. I think it's important, right? Okay. First time didn't work, but, you know, third time is always a charm. Diddle-a-dur, 6-3-3, 4-6-3-3. Upset. There we go. I must have got the key combination wrong last time. Okay, here we go. Oh, it's dialing. It's dialing. That's a good thing. Yeah, it's Warlight Ref. How are you doing, Pancakes?
This is me. My real name is Phyllis. I mean, I'm a dude.
Oh, I see, Pancakes. You're already in the stage of transitioning. I never knew that, Pancakes. You've kept that a secret. I mean, maybe you've been around Kurt Wadsworth a little too long. Maybe the time you walked into the bar and he offered to give you a handshake, it was a handshake lower down. Yeah. But that aside, Pancakes, how are you? You can be honest to me. Let me know. How are you feeling right now?
It's like he's on his phone, or he's like, I'm going to do this with technology, baby. Shit, I got something in my eyeball.
Pancakes, did you accidentally leave the mute button off then? Yeah, I heard exactly what you just said. Please do not call me baby again. Got it? So, what about your eyeball? You know, what? Really? You're not lying? There's actually something in your eyeball. Well, hold on, Pancakes. I mean, I think what you should have...
Shut up, I'm fingering my eyeball. Oh, yeah, that feels real good.
Please tell me more.
Weedleby?
Oh, yeah, that feels real good.
What's going on?
I could ride it like a horse, baby.
Oh my God, okay, please.
Oh, I think I got it out.
No. What have I just witnessed? Weedleby? Are you still there? Oh no? You finished? Well, you didn't last long, did you? Anyway, Pancakes, I don't know what is going on over there. I don't know if Gorilla Jack is even aware, or he's probably too busy with other gorillas, but, you know, Pancakes, slow down. You might have got some tips from others, but, you know, just ease it down a bit. You know, you don't want your pancakes to split. Your pancakes split, it's just not going to be the same again, okay? Take ideas and experience from Gorilla Jack. He knows about it. So I'll leave you to it. It's probably going to take some time to clean up, but don't worry. If you contact Kurt Wadsworth, Kurt does have a bottle of bleach in his trailer. So I'm sure a two-man job can get it done quicker. Isn't that right, boy? Yeah, Pancakes, calm down. Whoa. You know, just, you know, let the time ride out and enjoy every moment, okay? I'll see you next time, okay? Bye. So, I really don't know what happened there. All kinds of commotions going on in the background. I'm surprised that the dogs didn't join in as well, but, you know, I think we'll leave that for another time. Ellen Berg, if you're still here, can you please explain what just happened then? I mean, have you ever heard sounds like that before? Or is that unheard of? Like, you know, weird territory we're dealing with. And I'll say one thing, Stoney, you know, okay, with those glasses, you might get irritation. Originally, I was going to say to you, Stoney, you should go over to Salty Pancake's channel. You may already have done so. And you should have, you know, asked tips about, you know, scratching the eyeball. But I think after that, probably a bad idea, because Stoney, you might get more than what you bargained for, unless you want that. Anyway, we just put that aside. I think that rounds up everything for today. Okay, most importantly, the Dylan Rounds discussion, the court date situation with Brenner. If you've got any additional points, information, updates, list it down below in the comment section. If you've got any thoughts, questions, theories, or ideas, also list them down below. And as well, feel free to check out my previous video yesterday. So I think that's it for now. Hopefully you can get to sleep, right? I don't blame you if you can't. I would say good night to Cleo, but I think she's already passed out. Yeah, just one of those things. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye and good night for now.